Hey there. Are you stuck trying to figure out what to do in 2022? Well, today I've got a powerful solution for you: creating a vision. Now, folk talk a lot about vision, but don't always know where to begin, what to do, how to approach it. Well, we're going to do that today with 5 simple tips, ways that you can create a compelling vision. So, good morning to all of you. I'm Dr. Geneva, and welcome to Ignite to Impact. I'm delighted you're here. Happy New Year. I just hope you and yours are just doing incredibly well. You're excited. You're looking forward to a wonderful year ahead, as I am. And I hope you've had some chance to reflect on what the past year has been, because that's always, something fun to do at this point in the year, as you're thinking about the new, also reflecting on the past. But we're going to look forward to the future as we talk about creating a vision. And so I'm so glad that you're here today. Now, I want to let you know that vision, creating a vision, uh, is just something that is just part of my portfolio. It's what I do to help me stay vibrant, to really accomplish my goals. And I do it regularly. That is at least once a year. And I have fun doing it too. And so that's what I want to share. But what's so important that I think about a vision is what it can really do for you. And I want to tell you, I started out creating visions many, many years ago, and not personal visions. So my training and background in education is in community organization and social planning and public policy development, community transformation. And so when I was in school, the main tools we learned were about setting a vision, setting goals, taking action steps, learning how to put together objectives. And so this was a process and processes that I learned and learned and learned. And I had to apply them in the work that I did with organizations and in communities, and oftentimes with neighborhood folk. And so I've had the opportunity to approach visioning from lots of different perspectives. I remember this time when I was working with 2 organizations. I was a part of one, and there was another organization. And these 2 organizations really performed similar goals and certainly had similar views about the kinds of service that should be delivered to the community. And through the years, people felt that these 2 organizations should get together and become one. And but it didn't happen. It wasn't happening. And in fact, there was a lot of tension between these 2 similar yet separate organizations. And so I was fortunate enough to be in the position of leading one of those organizations. I'd come to step into that organization. Both of them had long, long histories, and a whole lot of stuff had developed before I stepped in. Okay. But clearly, being in the leadership role, they presented an opportunity for the 2 organizations to talk about coming together. And coming together was important because it would bring better service, better impact to people. One of the first things we did was to bring the board members and the key stakeholders of these 2 separate organizations together to do visioning. And that whole process really had the policymakers who were involved in both organizations realize that they had more in common than they had differences. Because as they started to think about the future and what they wanted the future to look like for the community and for their children and families in the community, it was stuff that was the same dreams, same aspirations for a better community and what that looked like. And starting off with this vision led to the decision of the two organizations coming together. And that's what you have in this community today, at least in the Detroit metropolitan community. And by the way, that organization is United Way. And that's how those disparate, separate organizations came together. So setting a vision is powerful. And I used to work with boards and still do work with boards and community groups on setting visions. And then now, though, most of my time is spent with helping individuals, people, create their own personal visions. And so that's why I just had to start off this new year with this topic. And so, I want to share, let me share this quote with you that Rosabeth Moss Cantor said, because I think it kind of summarizes where I am and certainly what I feel about a vision. A vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more. Now, Rosabeth Moss Cantor was one of my professors at Harvard when I went there to study nonprofits and how to be a great nonprofit leader. And she would sit at the front of the class and give us these words of wisdom. I can see her talking about how important vision setting is, because it's that kind of call to us to be better. And so that's why I think, one of the reasons why I think that a vision is so important. So bottom line, a vision is this expression of your desired future, your imagining of your better self. And it's so critical to helping you design the life that you love. And good morning, Gretchen. Good to see you from Tampa, Florida. Ooh, girl, you got that weather down there? Let us know how the weather is. It's kind of chilly here. The sun's out, but I know you got some of that warmth. So I'm glad you're here bringing it. So let's just for a moment focus on why a vision is important. Clearly, it helps you focus and set goals. I view vision as the gateway to setting goals. You know, you always hear a conversation. Everybody knows how to set goals, or at least everybody talks about, got to set my goals, got to set my goals. Goal setting is a popular topic and an activity that lots of people do. But then there's a step before setting goals. And the gateway to setting good goals is having a vision. And so that's one of the reasons I think vision setting is important. It does give you that direction and help and a barometer for making your life decisions. And Gretchen lets us know that it's a little windy, but it's warm and sunny. I knew it would be, but we're going to have plenty of sunshine right here in this conversation with you joining us. Thank you so much. I think another reason why a vision and having a vision is important is because it does help with accountability and monitoring the things that you want to get done, the things that you want to accomplish. It's something that keeps you in check. as you're going through every day and you see it every day. And of course, I say see it every day because I'm assuming that you're going to post it, have it written down. You're going to be able to see your vision. It keeps you accountable. It helps, keep you on the good foot. I do all kinds of things with putting up my visions. And so when I have my vision statements, sometimes I'll just put them on the back of my door. So whenever I close the door or come in the other way, there it is, I'm seeing it. And sometimes I'll just walk right by. Okay. But a lot of times, because it is there, it's hanging right there, I'll stop and I'll pause and I'll just, I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, yeah. Am I on the right track? That pausing and looking helps with accountability. And the third reason why I think that a vision is important is because it's fun. It's fun to do it. It's fun to imagine what you could be, what you want your future to look like. It reminds us of what we used to do when we were kids. You remember that, dreaming about what you wanted to be? I mean, that's what we did as children. And so it brings back that inner child and helps us reimagine what the possibilities are. Because, when we were young, we could do anything and everything. And so bringing back that in helps us an awful, awful lot. So bottom line, having a vision for your life is a beautiful thing. And I want you to make sure that you do it. And, and as you're doing that, as your vision, and the reason I wanted to come and give you these steps is because it really is an easy, fun, practical, powerful thing to do. Okay. If you want to get real, real deep into developing your vision, all the material you could ever use, and then how that leads to your goals, accountability, self-care, etc. Go check out my Vibrant Life Blueprint. I dive real deep into this. And as I worked with clients, my coaching clients, they frequently asked me, well, how do you begin and how do you see the impact and how can you tell the results? So that's why I developed the Vibrant Life Blueprint. So if you want to, dive into for some more stuff, go there. But these 5 tips are going to get you started and you can work with this. Okay. So, before you begin, there's a pre-step. I want you to get relaxed. Gretchen, you got to go to a comfortable environment. You got to quiet your mind, relax, focus, go to a place where you can focus and not have many disruptions, and have some paper and pen. You could do a journal, whatever, but you're going to be writing. Because you're going to spend some time thinking about it and imagining it in your mind, in your head, but you're going to have to write it down. And it's good to allow plenty of uninterrupted time. I was talking to a client of mine just yesterday who, she kept saying, I got to do my vision. I got to do my vision. She says, but I couldn't find the quiet time. And I told her, hey, that's a good thing because you want to be able to find that quiet time. And when she did, she found it very early in the morning. And she said, look, nobody's up. I'm going to do my vision. She was able to do it. So finding this quiet, uninterrupted time is very key because you're going to let your mind just do its thing. Hey, Stephanie. Ooh, these folks are just coming in from all this sunny weather. And I love it. I love it. And Gretchen says she has a journal. Oh, and you wrote your first poem. Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations. That's phenomenal. Thank you for doing that. Because when you take that time to, write your thoughts and write that don't journals bring out the creativity in you? I'm telling you, I did 2 articles for AARP. One was talking about ways to reduce stress and to stop worrying. And the other was, how to find and make friends when you live alone. You might not be lonely, but you're living alone. And in both of those articles, AARP, you can go check them out. You can Google them. In both of those articles, my strategies were about journaling. So I'm a big journal fan. And Gretchen, I thank you for that. And Stephanie, hey, you want to have me come to Florida? Okay. Invite me. I'll be there. I would love to come down to Florida, see what y'all are doing, be there. We could do everything from vision and goals. I do a big thing on self-care. Oh, just love it. And really in this whole thing about permission to pursue, that how we have to give ourselves permission to do the things we want to do in life. Everything from, being that new author, doing that podcast, to be the best we can be in whatever we want to do. But sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we think we can't. Sometimes we don't know how. Listen, let's find the ways to give ourselves permission to pursue our dreams. That's what I'm about. So yes, and absolutely, it all comes from the Creator. Absolutely, yes. And Tampa, Florida, shout out to you. So one of the ways, again, to give us permission to pursue is, again, creating this vision so we know what it is we want to pursue. So after you've relaxed, here's number 1 first step. You got to identify your core values. What's important to you? Okay. Now, there's simple ways to do this. You can Google core values and you will get list of helpful phrases, traits, words that identify what your values could be. You might value being trustworthy, being helpful, being honest. I mean, there's lots of ways. Values are those things that are important to you in life, and they're in you. And sometimes we don't stop and think about what they are. What if we're going to create and imagine what we want in the future? We got to stop to make sure that we include in that what our core values are, what's important to us, what we hold dear, and what makes a difference in our life. Okay. So that's going to be a first step. So take some time and write those values down. What I like to suggest to folks is that you write a list of, maybe 10 of them, and then you narrow it down to maybe your top 5, and then you narrow it down to your top 3. And so you take those 3 and make sure, and then, you can put them up on the wall, make sure they're in your book. Those 3 are the ones you want to check base with. Every time you're writing your vision, you want to make sure that those 3 pop up, okay, that they're incorporated in your vision. And then, so that's that. Then secondly, the second step you're going to take is you're going to identify the areas of your life where you want to write a vision about. So you say, what does this mean? It's just life. No, there are aspects of your life. Some people call, well, I wear many hats, or I do lots of things, or I balance many balls. Well, we all have it. There are aspects of our life where we've got our career and finances and home and relationships and spirituality, our personal growth, our health. These are all aspects of who we are. We are not one-dimensional people. We have multi areas of our life. So when you're developing your vision, you want to think about that. And you can approach it how you want to. You might want to look at all of your areas and say, okay, I'm going to write one vision for everything. Or you might want to take each area and write a vision for each area. You might want to say, well, I'm pretty cool and with my career and my finances, but I really want to work on my health and my spirituality. Okay. And so just develop a vision around those. And so, oh, well, thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie's saying this is so enlightening. That's right. We always focus our vision on our careers, usually, but again, you're multidimensional. You know, you probably have a family, connect people you're connected to, so that whatever you define your family as, that's an area of your life. Your health is an area of your life. Your spirituality is certainly a part of you. So yes, career is important. And a lot of us, when we put together vision, it's for that, career or work. But when it's so important to think about other lives, because that also helps with balance. I have clients who come to me all the time talking about, help me with my work-life balance. And the first thing we do is I sit down and we identify all of the aspects to their life, and that it's not just work, and it's not just career, and it's not just family. It frankly is all life. Okay. And so life has different aspects. Okay. So you want to do that. That's the second step. Then the third step, and this is the one that's that I really love. And the third step is, okay, then you sit down and you begin dreaming. You imagine no boundaries, no limits. Hey, dream. And it's okay. Take yourself back to when you was a kid. And if you can remember that far, like me, for me, it goes way, way back sometimes, I got to turn on the cartoons, which is one of the things I do to help prepare. And I frequently watch cartoons anyway, because, it takes me back to my inner child, and I have fun and I laugh. Okay. But, think about, take back, kick back, daydream. And this is the fun part. And, don't let that negative self-talk get in, because you're thinking about, oh, I really want to change careers. I really want to start a new business because I'm really good at helping people, coaching. And that's one of the things I had decided. I'm really good at it. But can I do that? Most of my work, this is what I went through in my head. Most of my work has been with groups and neighborhoods and in community and working with corporations and nonprofits and boards. Can I really work with individuals? And you don't want to let that negative, how could I, it's like, how can I do that? Hey, I can do that. I can. And you want to imagine, because, and you know what got me to say I can? Because as I sat back and I was reflecting on my vision and actually thinking about that process and wanting to do it and how I did it and how I did it with others and groups, I recognized that there were so many similar skills and techniques that were transferable to working with individuals. And that's why when I realized that I could become not only good, but I could become the best coach, mentor around, because I had over 30 years experience in making it happen in communities and seeing community transformation and helping neighborhoods transform and organizations transform. And so I could transfer those skills. And so this is the time when you don't let that negative self-talk come in. You think about all the possibilities. This is my favorite part that you do, and I suggest you do, when you let your mind and your heart flow. Okay. Then The next step, 4. So you've had all this dreaming and you're seeing this, you're getting excited. There's goosebumps coming up and down your arms as you're thinking about the possibilities. You're not saying, no, I can't. You're just doing, hey, what if I did it? Oh, this is great. And why not? Again, be that inner child. Find that inner child, let that inner child take over. Okay. The 4th thing you got to do is then you got to write it down. You got to put it down, just like Gretchen did in her journal. She wrote her poem, she got her journal. You got to put it down. Okay. And you write down your thoughts and what you imagined in several sentences or paragraphs. And you just write. And then you can go back, you can put it down, you can come back to it. Make sure you have your goal or your values up there, because you're looking at your vision statements and you want to look at your goals and then you want to look at your areas of life. So you're doing this compare, contrast, writing down process in the 4th step, after you've dreamed and, kind of considered everything. You're doing that. And these are your vision statements. These sentences and paragraphs that you have are your vision statements. Yes, they are. And so you've got it. You do. And there's no rules. So don't come back and say, well, Dr. Geneva, does it have to have this 5 words and then a comma and then does it have to fit over? There's no rules. Your life. Okay. But these are vision statements, and it's good enough. It's good enough to do that because you've spent the time dreaming. You've spent the time putting in your core values. You've spent the time writing it down so it has more of a touch of reality. So you're there. And then finally, 5th step, you're ready to document and display. And this, I think, is a real key thing. A lot of folk call this, a lot of people do vision boards, which is great. And what I always say, you might say to me, well, Dr. Geneva, I do my vision. I got my vision boards. You need to take these steps before you do your vision board. Okay? Vision boards, I love vision boards. They're so much fun. But trust me, you got to know, you got to go through this thinking process. Otherwise, you're just pulling pretty looking things and having fun. It's okay. But you're pulling pretty things, you're putting fun, you're pasting it up and everything. But see, you don't have a vision of what you want your life to be. So you got to go through some process of that. And when you're pulling out and cutting them magazines and cutting up them shapes and putting them on the board, etc., are your values there? Have you spent some time thinking about what's really important? Or you're just looking at those things that kind of pop out to you and visually strike you? Oh, I'm okay because, I'm a vision board freak. Okay, don't get me wrong. But I take this step before, and that is creating this vision. So I have a sense of things. And I can now, because once you've gone through these 5 steps, you have your vision statements. Okay. So so now take that to your vision board party and have a great time. Okay. And the other reason I suggest doing this first, what we've been talking about, creating your vision, is trust. It's going to give you the momentum and the staying power and the accountability. Okay, because you're building in what you're really building in by using this process, you're really systematizing, you're institutionalizing, you're building it in deep into what you do. It's not just going to a vision board party and having a good time and seeing your friends and sipping them wine and cutting out them pictures. Although that's fun. Again, I say, put that in there now. It's fun. But 3 months later is really the question. Where you going to be 3 months later? What you going to be doing? So that's why when you put these 5 steps that I've just shared with you about creating your vision into this process, you further proof your ability to stick with it and be accountable. Okay, we good? Okay, you see what I'm talking about? And so doing this whole process, so I want you to get your vision board, but these days you can grab a recorder and you can speak it. I love this. You can speak it and you can play it every day. You can videotape yourself. And there are apps, get your smartphone and videotape yourself. And then there are apps now that where you can create your vision board and play them, etc. So you have the opportunity to hear your dream, see your vision every day, all the time. So, I'm so into this process as one of the key critical steps to a vibrant life, to a well-being life, this creating this vision, that a couple of years ago I had Vision 2020 and everyone loved it, etc. And then we had pandemic. But I want Tisha Hammond, my producer, she makes everything happen. I want her to come and kind of give her story about what happened at that experience and what mattered. As we talk about the bonus that I want to give you, Tisha, the bonus I want to tell people is time to celebrate and reward yourself once you finish that vision, don't you think?
I am in total alignment and agreement. Dr. Geneva, this is something that I've dwelled on for the last 2 years. And when I sat in your Vision 2020 conference and received this Dr. Geneva Speaks notebook with a pen, I'm writing, and I reread it. And if I could just share the exercises that I went through that day, because I clearly see the 10 core values that you asked us to write out. And I got to be honest, it was hard getting to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where community came in, because I was surrounded by all these queens, and you had such a large room full of people. How many people were there?
It was over 120. We had to cap it.
Yeah,
Because I had wanted a room of 50, but it just kept going and going and going. So finally the hotel told us we had to cap it at 120. It was fabulous.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. So I wrote down my list of 10 core values. It was difficult to get to 10. And then you asked us to narrow that down to 5 and then to 3. And the 3 that I picked, Dr. Geneva, are still so very true and held dearly to me. They are in this order: community, influence, and cheerfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, I looked back and I added another core value, because it becomes easier now that you know
Right.
what to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you reflect on it, it becomes a little easier. And the newest core value that I added was richness. And that don't have nothing to do with green. That it's rich in all these other areas of life and business and work. And I have this quote here that I got from you that day. It says, "I am multidimensional and each area of my life requires its own vision." And I'm just I'm on a cloud, like just riding off of this 2020 conference. I can't wait till you do it again.
Yes, I'm going to do it again. And you said something so critical. And thank you for giving that feedback when you said, and then I added another one because I know what to do now. One of the things that was drilled in my head since I was a young girl starting in community work was that because I grew up under the teachings of people like Saul Alinsky and others, you might not know those names, but this was a whole school of thinking back in the day when I was coming up about, how important it was to not just go into communities and do everything for people, but rather go into communities, become collaborative, supporting partners, and help communities and people who live in communities do it themselves. So as I work with people, as I give these live events, as I talk with my coaching clients, it's always about it doesn't work unless you learn the system, unless you embrace the process, so that in fact you can do it over and over and over again in your own space for yourself. So I just, when you said that, I just wanted to share that aspect of what I believe in.
Thanks for
Yes.
having me on, Dr. Geneva.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's what our session is today about, the conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it. We talk a lot about this in Extraordinary Women Influencers, which is my Facebook group. And, we're constantly talking about empowered women and how we can be even more empowered because we have an impact on everything there is. And as Martin Luther King Jr. would want us to do, is to create that ability to be out there, to have a vision, to have a blueprint, so that in fact we could create change. Because it isn't just about having something written down on a piece of paper or putting something in your journal. It's about what you do with it. It's actionable. It's, what change do you make? And it doesn't have to be, running out there and being a leader with hundreds and thousands of people. It really starts with what you do with your own life. How are you the leader of your own life? And how do you impact and influence in a positive way those around you and those in your community? So I love this topic of creating vision. I think it's, one that fits and relates to all of us. I'm checking my notes to make sure that I've covered everything. Let me tell you that someone anonymous said, make your vision so clear that your fears become irrelevant. See, we can do a whole thing on that. I'm just going to leave you with some of this. And John Maxwell talked about a courage, that a person's courage to fulfill his or her dream comes from passion, not position. So, having that inside of you. Yes, yes, yes. And we'll end with Muhammad Ali, who said that champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside of them: a dream, a desire, a vision. So go on out there and be the champions of your life and continue to join in the conversation. Come on over to the Facebook group, Extraordinary Women Influencers. Know that I'm here for you if you want to be a part of our e-newsletter community, or if you'd like to have some conversation with me. I am in the coaching business. I do that. And I'm coming down to Florida. Yes, 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 Stephanie, to see you. Invite me. I'd love to do it. Mwah. Love you all. See you soon.